You too.
We are live.
Yeah, we're like, really?
Yeah. Hello, friends. Today we have with us filmmaker Sayun Simung from Taiwan, and it's really wonderful to have Sayun with us. I'm a big fan of her film, and she makes documentary films and has some experience in working for television and journalism and so on and so forth. Sayun, welcome to our discussion.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sayun. I come from Taiwan, and I'm one of the indigenous people in Taiwan. I'm a Tayal tribe. Tayal tribe. Yeah, and I from my village is from the central of Taiwan, and we live in a very high mountain. Um, Yes, we are high mountain people. So there are many tribes in Taiwan. Officially, there are 16 tribes in Taiwan, and Dayan tribe is one of them. Yeah. Mm. Well, nice to meet you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. About Taiwan, and when we, of course, Taiwan cinema is very popular across the world, and
Ready?
but as far as I know, I think it's popular, but we
Mm.
only know of the very famous art house films, by
Mm.
like filmmakers like Hu Xiaozhen. Is that how you
Yes.
pronounce it?
Yes. Hou Xiaoxian.
Hao
Yes.
Xiaoxian and
Yes.
maybe Young. Edward Young, I think that's his name.
Ah, okay.
So we
Young
just
person.
know of we have seen films about of these famous art house filmmakers and
Mm.
but please tell us more about the situation. I mean, what kind of cinema is being made by independent filmmakers, by indigenous filmmakers like yourself? If you could tell us a little bit about that.
Hmm. It's a really big question.
Yeah,
It's yeah. Um, okay. So you asked me. Some of us know Taiwanese cinema only for the art house films that emerged from the Taiwanese new wave, and to
yeah,
share more about the cinema of Taiwan and how you are, what influenced me to be a filmmaker. Actually, what I share now. Actually, I didn't see I didn't see much movies in Taiwan. I see a lot of movies from the Europe and over and America, and the other countries. Yes, but Taiwan cinema, I think I probably can share just a little bit, and my observation of my aspect, and Taiwan cinema in the art house. I think there are many new generation come out and to create very incredible work and the incredible films for this for these years. If we're talking about indigenous director who are film documentary film, and there are many phones and there are many artists. They try to through the film, through image to tell their own story. In the past have a lot of senior directors, indigenous people in Taiwan. They care about their movies, cares about and focus on the issues of indigenous society, and including then rights, including the basic rights of for indigenous people, uh, for living, for use our own land, and to for to do something. So, but sometimes it's more like a revolution, like more like you we want to fight, and we our people will go to the street and to earn the basic right. They, I mean, our senior director, they will film that kind of a films. Sometimes, yes. So for many years, until now, yes, there are many young generation directors nowadays. It's quite a little bit different right now. I saw some young filmmaker, in this indigenous filmmakers, start to beginning to searching for their roots, searching for who they are, and try to identify way where they from, and then they start go back to their village or go back to where they come from, and start to find the answers, and through the film they start to from their own self, not from the very big community, because there are many new generation, they live in the city, not live in the tribe, or in the not live in the village. So they kind of are lost sometimes, and then they want to find the answer, and then they want to find who they are, and they use the film to just like and everybody has their own journey. Sometimes is not about the indigenous, not about the tribe or the culture, but the film, the image is very it's a very magical thing, because when you screening on the wall, or screening on the TV, or in a cinema, or in a theater, and you will see, wow, that's and we will know through the images, through the film, and then we will realize, wow, that's the special. This director, their own life is full of their own special or specific um, culture in their life. Sometimes you don't have to emphasize on who am I, or I am Diane people, right? And I don't have to emphasize I'm a Diane people in my film. No, no way. And but the audience always can see, always can observe the trace and the um, and the culture through your film. Like a montage. The film, a clip, and when you editing your film, like different image, different clips, when they come together, and it will it will become a landscape, and you realize, oh, that's from their culture. And I think back to the former, I talk about the new generation director, including me. Yeah, including me. I'm not really young, but I think I start to film my film before over 10 years ago. And I think it inspired me to film the documentary film, start to film documentary, is I joined an international crew, and they film a Dayan tribe in the west, in the in the west of sorry, in the east of Taiwan. There is a tribe is called Smagus, and we went to Smagus, and we are the same tribe, but we are not in a different regional. I mean, different area, and I saw they still uh, preserve many old culture and in their daily life, and I very moved. And when I see that they are living the life nearly to the ancients, the elders, they used to be the living the life, and I start to think about myself, and how about my village, how about my tribe. So in order to find the answer, I start to I decide uh, leaving Taipei, and went back to my village, and start to film my first feature length documentary film. It calls Millie's Back Home. And I know Surya have sold that in the Malaysia International Film Festival 2 years ago, right? And and when I go back to my village, when I decide go back to my village to start to film, it's not really difficult things. It's more like natural things. It's more like call. Someone called me, someone called me. Yeah, Sayun, you have to go back. You have to go back, and you have to go back your hometown. And that's why I go back. It's very natural thing, and I start to film. And in the meantime, I start to re 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 relearning and start to relearning my culture until now. And um, I think Taiwan's cinema, mm, in right now, they become many. You can see many races, many different people, including Han people, including uh, some the people uh, they marry to Taiwan, and they have a generation, and they start to film their own story, and of course indigenous people too. And I think it is a very good it's a good way to tell the story. I think Taiwan, there are many people, many different races, and we start to so you can see a lot of artists to use uh, many tools. Right now is maybe they will create their films through different uh, social media, and they use their social media. Young people is very good at that. Sometimes we have to think about it to use the tool. I think the tool is an advantage of it for them to use this technology. Yeah, and then they can they can they can try many many new things. And also when I see the new generation, they're doing their own creation, and I inspired by them. Sometimes I inspired by them. So uh, if you're talking about Taiwan new cinema new wave, I think they are the next Taiwan new wave. So for me, I quite of a, like, a little bit old style, or my storytelling is a kind of a attempt to the mainstream. I will do a little bit voice over, and to collaborate all the to structure the whole film, and to present the aspect of myself. So I think that's the creation of my work. But I still want to do many new try in the future of my works. And so right now this is my observation of the Taiwan cinema. And of course I quite like know about the indigenous. Yeah, just like I said, I'm not really so many Taiwan cinema, Taiwan movies. Yeah, but well, yes. I don't know if I answer your question,
No,
but
no, of
I
course you
try.
did. Yeah, of course you did answer my question. In fact, there were quite a few things that I would like to know a bit more about. Uh,
Yes.
to start with, when you mentioned that your films are about your films, the film that I saw, I found that film very, of course, it was a very beautiful film and very powerful film. But
Mm,
what I noticed was that your film has its own, it's not uh, succumbing to the pressure of the market in terms of it's you held on to your aesthetics. You took your time to tell the story, and your shots are not edited to please the audience but more to create, recreate the experience that you are probably going through. So which is very much like what new wave was all about, that to
mm,
defy the market aesthetics and of commercial cinema or big Hollywood cinema. And so I mean, that was how do you, because it's so difficult for a new filmmaker to do that. So did you like naturally find that style of making films, or were you inspired by some kind of film, or what happened?
yeah, it's a really good question because, you know, actually, sometimes when I what can I do? Well, sometimes the subject, if you film indigenous films, it's there's a it's not really mainstream. It's not really mainstream. Particularly, it's a particularly group to watch the film. You know, we are not like the just like to say Hollywood or many popular popcorn cinema. Yeah. So for indigenous, the sub if your movie subject is about indigenous is sometimes people have some many labels on it, and they will think about it's indigenous people, maybe it's too heavy for me, maybe it's too much issues for me. And so when I but that's a question for me, why do I want to start to make film? um, Maybe I want to film. Maybe I want to, you know, there is a saying says, uh, documentary film is just like the photograph, photo books for every country, just like for every family. So if I film this story, that means I preserve one of the culture of mine for my people, right? But if I don't do that, maybe this story for now, there they are not there no there's no one to tell the story, and to their many people to know that, and notice that, and to think about this might be the very important things for this kind of a group, or for this kind of a people. Yeah. So we indeed for independent filmmakers in Taiwan. Sometimes indeed we confront some problems, and how we gonna uh, to 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 film the film, and but just like any other independent filmmaker in Taiwan, uh, in the past, in the 10 years, in the past 10 years, and I saw many independent filmmaker. they they have a low budget. Sometimes they don't have the money. How do they start film? And of course you have to have a camera, right? And when but they do a lot of a job. And as you know, film editing and interview and post production and subtitles and maybe translation. Yeah, all the things for indeed for independent filmmaker in Taiwan. And just like uh, many the other many independent filmmaker in the world, around the world, they don't have the money, but they have a drive, they have a thirst, they want to, they need to film the story because they have a passion on it. Otherwise they can't do it alone. Otherwise they can do it for a long time, in the long term. And we can, yeah. And so for me, why do I want to film the film? um, Obviously because I'm Taiwan people, I want to film the story of my culture, my people. The important things, because I know I want to know where my people from, where why my people decide to live in Taiwan, this land, this island. I want to know that. And I think when we're in the field, I mean, in the field is means we do a lot of interview with our elders in the village, in the tribe, and we try to know, to ask more questions with our elders. And they, sometimes is you learn your culture, and you in the field, and you documentary that the image, and also you write it down, all the story that become your nutrition, the your sorry, your when you create your works, that will be the very useful resource, useful footage. So I think that right now I just keep on to doing that. In the future I want to do in the future lens movie. I want to, why? Because I want to let more people to know the story. And the other thing is I used to saw a movie from the north of America. There are indigenous. They call themselves uh, um, I smoky people. I'm not sure. And Innu, Innu, Innu people. They live in a very cold world. And then there is a movie called The First Runner. The First Runner. And this movie inspired me. Why? Because as I know this movie, except the photographer is white people, the others, the team, all the team, I think maybe over 80 or 90% is all made by whole village. The film is made by whole village, and that in that time I start to think, wow, that's that's incredible. That's amazing. A a village, you know, the power of a village can make a movie. That's I didn't think that before. But when I saw the movie also win the Cannes in a win the photograph the best photography in the Cannes Film Festival many years ago. The festival, and that inspired me because the director is indigenous people. He is Inuit people too. They use they collaborate many people, all of villagers to make film. That's really incredible to me because that's the way. That's that's the way, and I really my personally I really very dream about to do the same thing just like them because they I think that's a real way to tell their own story, to decolonize decolonize the culture, so I think I always keep these things uh, on I'm in my heart because I want to do that. I want to do the same thing because if you can tell if you start to tell your story, especially you are the one of them, you are not outsider. Of course, you will feel confused because when you're in there, you sometimes you will lost. Yes, it's normal things, but you will find the power. You will find a spirit from your tribe. I think so many things, but I didn't mean we don't have to we don't have to co-work cooperate with the other tribe or the other people or non-indigenous people. No, I think making film is very professional things. So I think separate and respect for the professional is very important things, and that's the good attitude for your works. But if I have a chances like that, like a Innu community, we can do that the same way in our village. But I think it's have to take a very long time. It's a long journey. Yes, just like you say, I put a lot of investment and put a lot of time in my work. Of course, for documentary films, you have to do that. You have to wait. You have to be very patient. But sometimes when I start to making my film, I'm not really passionate. I'm very impatient. So I made a lot of mistakes, and I feel regret. And to my interview, to my interviewer, to my the elders, if I because I want to do more, but make mistake sometimes it's very good things because it's it will keep you to think things very deep and very wide, and that's an experience. So I suggest the young people, if you want to make a film, just make mistake, just make a lot of mistake. Don't afraid to make mistake will make you will make you better in the future. Yeah, so that's what I say so far.
Wow, that's very.
Can
Sorry.
do I answer your question? Because
Yes, yes,
I
of
was,
course.
yeah, yeah, I was thinking when you asked the question, but I always answer the other way, you know.
No,
Yeah,
that's absolutely fine because
yeah.
we want to essentially hear about your ideas and your views and
Mm,
opinions and your experience. And
mm,
from your film, I have always found, I mean, even in our conversations, that you are, very uh, there is a lot of investment of time and passion. And while you said impatient, but I see that as a lot of passion to tell the story and to
mm,
bring it out. And but at the same time, I mean, I just remember your film all the time, and the shots, it stayed with me till now. And it has stayed for such a long time in my brain or in my heart, because it is so powerful. Although it's, I mean, one would think it's very simple, but it stays for such a long time in your. I mean, it stays forever. It's a film that you carry with yourself for the. I mean, as an audience, I will carry it for the rest of my life. It's not something like popcorn, that you eat and it's gone, kind of a thing.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Uh, our pleasure too. As a viewer, it's yes. What I mean, that really requires some amount of commitment, and to be really patient. I mean, you shot your first film for how long? Like, what was the journey about the first for 1 year?
Yes, 1 year. Yeah, and uh, yes, 1 year. Yeah,
So do you
and
shoot a lot, and do you have a lot of footage that is not we don't see, but or is it like very planned actually?
mm, yes, I shot a lot of footage, and yes, only 1 year because the Millie back home actually we are film this film is we are film the we call the millet in Taiwan language is Telakis. And actually, I filmed three families. Do you remember that? And
Yeah.
I filmed the three family in 1 year. And also, I filmed the growth, the time of growth of the millet. So it's like a full season, 1 year full season to see uh, uh, the the millet when we sow in the millet, and we can see the millet start to growing up. And also we it's just like a reflex. It's like a reflex with the life of the family. They have a processing their, they keep on moving. They confront the difficulty in their life, and they still moving just like the millet, because the millet is nurture is grow up by the natural, by the rain, by the very natural things. You don't have to put the poison something to make them grow up. No, you just to take care of the millet. Yeah, the luckies, and just like a family, they have a they will start to find, and they grow up their own strengths to keep on moving, just like the millet. Yeah, so it's like in my film I mentioned about one thing. I think the Taiwan people, the spirits of Taiwan people is like sometimes it's the personality is a little bit like the Lakis, a little bit like the millet. It's very strong. It's very their own. They have their own strength. No matter the situation so many difficult or so hard, but they still keep living. So that's what I want to say in my film. So um, I use one year because I want to see the processing of the growth of the millet, and also reflects on the three families of that time in the same time. So there is an elder, the lady, the old lady, the Diane old lady. She is she present the old generation of Diane. She know the knowledge, the ancient knowledge, how to sowing the lakis, sowing the millet. Because in my generation, or the old ladies, children, they don't know how to sowing the millet. So she present the old time, our old culture. She still preserving and the conservation and the conservation of the knowledge of millet, and in the but when the camera comes to the new generation, and you will see we are Diane people in the nowadays. We are modern Diane people. With some culture we lost, but we have to going back to find and start to learn. Otherwise, if we don't know the knowledge, and you sometimes you will ask for yourself, am I really Diane? And you will confuse, am I Diane? Can I say I am Diane people very proudly? But you don't know the culture. You don't know how to sew in the millet, the very basic, the way of the living in the ancient time. Because we are not we right now, because we live in a different time. So I think that sometimes when I film my film, I will start to think about the kind of things, because the time is different, right? But we have still have our special, or for this time, for the definition of how we live in nowadays for Dian people. So um, sometimes you will feel um, not really positive, yeah, to see to see your culture is, I'm sorry, you see your culture is lost. So that's why we are keep our uh, activity. I mean, make the activity so fast to film the story. Otherwise, you will see the culture in the museum, right? And you see the museum, and I think the important things you have to really work on, and really uh, try to into the real world, not just saying, or not just thinking. Yeah, but you have to thinking. Yeah, and yes, I really don't know how to continue. I'm sorry.
No,
If you
fine.
have
It's
any
yeah.
question, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, as you said, museums and this here. I mean, this huge thing, like when people are looking at indigenous culture, it's always through from the outsider's gaze, the white man's gaze, or the colonizer's gaze, and
Mm,
the gaze of the non-indigenous, and it's always. I mean, I
mm,
see a very marked difference between the two different gaze, and because the outsider's gaze, the colonizer's gaze, is always to present indigenous community as a spectacle, or as a exotic, or as a very like a thing of beauty, and it never goes it does not go beyond the the upper layer, the superficial layer of uh, beauty and things like that. It does not make a deep connection. Uh, what do you like? How? What do you think? Like this? Uh, I mean, this whole conflict between the, not a conflict, but the fact that for years we have seen indigenous communities from the outsider's gaze, and it's now that indigenous filmmakers, I mean, of course there have been people in the past, but now everywhere in the world we see,
Mm-hmm.
because cinema technology has also become more accessible, and with internet we are being able to see each other's works and also network with each other. So, how do you see indigenous filmmakers using films for decolonization? I mean, you
Mm.
have talked about it, but
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Can I, for example, I can talk about a little bit. Right now, right now I am filming the film, and what right now we are doing the things, and uh, mm, I filmed the because I focus on and I care about the land rights, and for in 2018. I start to film the new project. It's called The Way of a Skoyal. The Way of Skoyal is talk about the land rights and finding the truth of our lands and finding justice of our lands. So I go when I in the village and I start to make the 3D maps. Actually, I think another unsuccessful example, but it doesn't matter what is successful or not succeed. I think the important thing is the processing. When I
right,
start to make the 3D mapping of my tribe, I'm just only myself. I don't have any partner to do these things together at the beginning. But I made the professor in the university. We start to in the other village, and then we start to have some uh, engagement scholarship and with between our community, and he has a lecture for sharing the experience of how to do the research in a traditional territory. And his students show how to make a tribal mapping. Then I invite the teacher, to visit our to my village, Skoyao. I hope he could help me to finish Goyal's tribal mapping. And in the process, process, and I still filming all the process, how we interact with our elders in the community, and how we our people interact with uh, the the research from the university. Yeah. So, but because this kind of engagement scholarship is I think is good because the professor and the student from the school from the university, they are very respectful for the tribe. the and also respectful the elders for their opinions. So, and we had a mapping workshop in our village in 2018 in the winter. That was very cold, and that in that year it was snow. And after that, I worked with the elementary school, and I am, but we when we're doing the 3D mapping, we confront some difficulties because I have to film another film. I really busy on that, so for some times I stop this project, and after 1 year, I try to Finally, my cousin joined me, and then the other the young people in our village joined us well, and we spent 3 to 4 months to finish the maps by our own. And there are still many young people in the village, but they have their own work and their own task to do. They don't understand why this is important for the village and for them. So that's why I decided to make a film. I hope through the film could bring some ideas for the viewers and also for our young people in the village. Sometimes we make film, we naturally will think this film is is screening is for the outsider or non-indigenous people. No, I make film. Sometimes I make film is for our people. I mean, the audience is our people. No, so because the movie is very 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 special things, because when the film is screening on the wall or on the white things, white wall, white wall, and the people, the audience, no matter what is outsider or my people or my people, they saw the image, they saw the film screening, they saw themselves in the movie. This kind, they will feel like it's kind of a strange feeling. They will give there some feelings, and the feeling is really different, because you are in it, you are doing the things in the tribe, in the village, just like a normal days. But if these things, this daily life is screening on the screen, it's really different. It's really that will be another. It's telling a story, and to the viewer, the interviewer in the film, they saw themselves in the screen. They will start to thinking the opposite, the opposite side, what they are thinking about, and they will thinking, two sides. Wow, I'm in the screen. I need a movie, and they start to thinking about what, why, and how, and how do I look like in the film, in the movie? Why do I speak like that in that way? So it's really, the combination of that and the interact. The You will show your film is screen when they screening in the screen, or screening in the theater, or screening in the tribe, in the wall, and when your interviewer sitting in the down there, and your film, your works is 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 interact with your people, not just for the outsider. Is interact with your people, your audience. So that's really amazing things. You will, so and then in that time you will think, wow, this is a dreams come true, like dreams come true. And this is you finish one mission. Your work, your film, through your film, you do inspire not just the outsider, of course, including your people, the people you film, the people from your village, the people who is your elders. They will feeling something, when they saw themselves in the screen. Yeah, it's really different. Maybe the film will inspire them to think, or to make them some feelings. There are some feedbacks, you know, in their mind, in their feelings. That that's right. And I want to know. Sometimes they will some audience or some people. um, or the readers, they will think indigenous film sometimes is not really important or not really mainstream movie. um, but this is maybe it's not really valuable for the other person, but that doesn't mean you don't have to film this subject. If you think the subject is right, just do it, and just film that, and as fast as you possible, because the culture we are dealing with the loss of this generation, and the loss of the culture. So when I back to the topic, when I talking about the 3D mapping, and yes, so when I film the way of Skoyao, I editing to 30 minutes, like former short film, and I screening in my village, and just like I said before, my the elders, our my grandpa, and they sitting down the chair, and to show the movie, they saw themselves on the screen, and they are very interesting with that, and they're very focused on the film. And I remember there's elders. Uh, he is the oldest elders in the tribe, and his name is Lin Zhanglao. And he said to me, Taiwan tribe, Taiwan culture is not easy thing. There are more way complicated. I think at that time I realized he is uh, he is noticed me. I have to learn more. I have to think deeper. I have to see wider for my culture, because um, if we lost, and we don't know the past, and then we don't have a we don't in our generation, we don't have a now and in the future. So it's it's a like a sequence, we come together, and so I think that's life, the life of Diane. So of course, the Diane culture is very complicated. It's not easy way. It's not easy to understand. You have to put a lot of effort on it. Otherwise, you might know about a little bit. That will be very shame, and that will be very pity. Yeah, if you yeah. So but I think when I finish the short film, to to let my people to show the film, I think it's a very precious experience for me to witness all the process. Yeah, it is the I think that's part of a learning courses of my life. So it's a very precious experience. But in the future, I will still keep on finish the other project, the filming project. So I will do the same, because the feedback is, no matter what is bad or good, I think the feedback is always to um, make you forward, keep forward. Yes, keep moving on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Uh, well,
东快，东快，东快。
that was really amazing what you just shared, and I was thinking. I mean, uh, it's very important, yeah, indeed, to because this serves as a way of a living memory, to for generations to come, and yes. Well, but moving a little bit outside of films, when you say land rights, so what is the situation of, I mean, indigenous people? I mean, because sorry, we are not very well informed about. I mean, I know a little bit about the situation in Taiwan, uh, but since you have been working in this thing, like, is it like because in India we have a situation where there is a lot of alienation of indigenous people from their land by I mean historically the Hindu colonizers, then the British colonizers, the Mughal colonizers, and after that now we have the capitalists, who want their mining and factories. So indigenous land has been, the being snatched from the indigenous people all the time. India has a very strong history. I mean, a long history of that. For thousands of years and hundreds of years, this has been happening and still continues. Uh, uh, so here there is a lot of struggle also, and there is a lot of movement, and people are fighting in all kinds of ways possible. And I mean, it would be good to know about the land right movements in Taiwan, so we can learn something.
Yes, we're talking about the land rights. Kind of like I think for indigenous people in the world, when we're talking about the land rights, you can start to think about what is the land rights of indigenous people, and of course, I think the more understanding way to realize the point is the living rights of the living rights where we are living, and you know uh, in my village, in my tribe, when the Chinese government come to I'm sorry, when the Japanese we've been through Taiwan, been through Japanese colonization time, and also Chinese colonization time until now, right? And uh, the different colonization time, they have a lot of they have a different ways to um, to capital to doing many things in the with in the indigenous people, um, and occupied, the Chinese. I know they're one of our territory. The traditional territory is occupied by the government, and when we want to the land of justice, we want to 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 discover and discover the truth and make it right, but the government didn't to share the true story and all the true information to they let us know. And in the past, I think in the 60 over 60 years before, and when they come to Taiwan, the government come to Taiwan, and they talk they convince our elders, the people from our elders. They say, I give you money, and could you sign here, and your land, you give me your land and I give you money, and to do like exchange, no, like exchange, and like a compensation, like a compensation like that. And you know, because because our elders very innocent, so they sign, they believe, they trust the government will give them money or the other exchange the other lands for they to for them to start another field to grow the traditional like a the millet something like that, and like farm, like a farm, yeah, farm. And anyway, the government is lied to them until now, and we don't know what happened at that time. What 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 would why do the government say to them? And then we trying to discover the the truth of the land. So we start. So that's why I want to film the subject of that the film, and we want to discover more authentic story. So I start to interview the elders. Of course, because indigenous people, we don't have a we don't have a we don't have a we have a speaking language, but we don't have a writing. We don't have a
Script.
character, yeah, script. Yeah, we don't have a character script. We don't writing. We passed our culture is by the by songs, by the old songs. Yeah, and to pass pass to generation, and so they don't know how to write, and then they don't know what is exactly like that. So they are lied by the government anyway. And in my film, I would like to share the reality and the authentic story. So, mm, you know, sometimes more like a translation between the mainstream world and our world, two different cultures. But, we want to take back our the rights of interpretation. That's really important and also very meaningful. We heard a lot of many things from the outsider, and the government told us what is the history we have. But it's not the truth. So that's why I made the film to convey ideas. Uh, what's the real situation in the village, in the modern life? So we've been through many times like that. We've been occupied, and we've been not allowed to our old tribe in the future, in the past. So right now we start to make a team in the village. We try to find many young people, and we decide to go to our old tribe every year, and we do some ceremony in our old tribe, because the the old tribe is just in the national park. So if we go inside, we have to inform them, but it's not, sometimes not, you will feel like it's really strange, because this is our old home, our ancient home. And why do I have to inform you before I go inside, going to the forest? It's my right, right? So I try to and in Taiwan, the education, most of people, like they don't know the real story of the lands. They only know, oh, this is Taiwan, and but they don't know this is the old home of the Taiwan people. So we try to make film, because make film is a very easy way to lay a lot of people to sow, to understand. So I think this is sometimes is a efficiency way to lay a lot of people to understand why do we want to convey the ideas of our story. But I have to emphasize something about the making film. You have to patience. You have to take time. You have to ask yourself again and again and again and again, why are you doing that? If anybody doing this is better than you, or why this story it has to be you to tell the story, why not the other people, why you? I mean, um the important things is the author. I mean the people who want to tell the story, it must be your life is connect with this topic, with these things, with this story. It's not just story, it's about people, you know. It's about your culture, why this is really important to you. I mean, in a personal way. It's not public, or it's not very big group. The meaningful is from yourself. So so I think I when I making film, I always do that to me. But sometimes it made me confused, because I always ask myself again and again, and in the end, I confuse. but I but that's why we need airlines, you know. We need people, friends like you, Surya, and like friends like Laha, and like the other people who are doing the same things. We can talking, we can share, we can feedback to each other's works, each other's films, to make us um, to make us to do it better, or to do it more fulfilled. Otherwise, we will sometimes you will feel like a lost a piece of something of your film, right? I'm sorry.
No, well, it's really inspiring to hear from you. Very powerful and inspiring.
Thank you.
And yes, in fact, I mean, I will be listening to everything once more again, because
Uh,
I want to hear it
uh,
again. And
Thank you. And
yeah.
I'm not really, speaking English, but I try my best, and I really want to share, and really want to interact like that, this way. And also, when I talking about these things, some in the meantime, I also to think about the whole processing, because this is uh, the time I look back. I look back. Oh, this is the way I already walked so long, and I right now I'm processing right now, and I coming, and to think what's the next step. What's the next step for the future of um, with my community, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if you understand.
No, I do. Of course, I do. I
Mm,
completely understand. Yeah,
thank
I
you.
do.
Thank you.
um, I mean, yeah, thank you. Uh, Uh, well, I still have many things, but I know we have been talking for a while. Uh, I mean, amongst other things, how has your community and coped with Corona? This is just, I mean,
Yeah,
something, I mean,
corona.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The situation right now in Taiwan, I think the corona, yeah, you know, in May, there are many people, over 300, 400 people got the coronavirus. But right now, the government is, right now, I think the corona situation is under control. Yes. So, but right now we still are in the three, three, three level alert. So right now we go outside, going outside. We have to wearing a mask, and we have to keep a distance with people to people, and we don't have allow, and we are not allowed to come together and to doing some social activities. Yeah. So, but sometimes it's really hard because if you want to do something in the community, especially for the indigenous community. Indigenous community is very like a weaving, weaving. We are weaving together, So it's really hard to to not come together. So the indigenous community, we are very close, uh, the family as well. So, uh, but I think because we are living in a very long distance from the city, and although the community is really close, but we living from the city very far away, and so the distance sometimes, family to family, and the community, the every house, every family, we know each other for very long generation. So I think I think in if there is no other outsider from city come to community, I think the community will be safe. But right now, the city, sometimes the people from city, they are they are they want to breathe in the fresh air in the mountain, and they will come to mountain to to breathe the fresh air, and the tourists sometimes will be the threat for the community. Especially there are many elders, the old lady, old people in a community. That's uh, the group of the ages of the group. They are highly affected, right? Uh, Affected by the corona, infected, or being also infection by the coronavirus. So right now, we are still waiting for the next week, because next week, our CDC, the government will pronounce, uh, will will pronounce to if we will will decrease to second level alert. If we doing that, if the government do that, maybe we can just a little bit relax. But I think we have to keep eye on it, and keep alert, and keep awareness of the virus, the mm, the the chance to infection. Yeah. Avoid to keep, yeah, to keep it people distant. Right now it's good. Yeah. So how about you? The situation in
Oh.
India?
Well, Indian situation is really tough because
Mm,
our government is absolutely not reliable, and
mm,
so it's always the government is always kind of only catering to the dominant elite Brahmin groups, and the indigenous people are not getting the kind of they're not I mean because there are so many the thing is that the indigenous languages are not being used by the government to communicate about corona, so the communities got no information at all, and all the
Oh.
information is in English, Hindi, or the other main mainstream
Mm,
languages,
mm,
and so people do not have any information. I mean, it's been
mm,
more than a year since this has been happening, but there has been no effort made by anybody to
mm,
inform people, to create information in indigenous language, which is
mm,
important, because I think without proper information people cannot take the right decisions. And
mm,
so now the government is sending health team with vaccines to the village, but
mm,
people are afraid ki, what is it that they're going to put and why.
mm,
And this information has been not given to them from 1 year. Everybody else is has access to all this information, but the indigenous communities who are living in the village,
mm.
they did not get any information at all, and suddenly
Oh,
now the government has arrived. So that is and apart from that, even with information, the mainstream people in the cities, they find it difficult to deal with it, because there is the public health infrastructure in India is very poor. So
mm,
getting proper healthcare is very difficult, and
mm,
the hospitals are really in a bad condition, and
mm,
and at the same time vaccines are not been given properly everywhere. And most
mm.
importantly, the government has you must have seen in the news how the lockdown affected the workers, who were in different cities, and they had to come back home walking. There was no public transportation for them. People died on their way back home. People
My
died in
God.
accidents. Yeah, so it was very it's been very tragic here in India. I mean, I don't.
Mm,
In other places, it's just been corona, but here, the coronavirus has triggered all the other problems as well.
mm. That's really,
So
really,
yeah,
really hard.
yeah, it's
God.
and of course the media doesn't talk much about it, and only some sensational aspects are talked about. But
Mm,
so yeah, I mean, it's too big a country in that way, to be and too diverse. It's I mean,
mm,
indigenous First Nations are the maps that While you were talking about land rights and all, I was just thinking the same, that how important it is for us to bring back those old maps of the First Nations, of the indigenous nations that were there, or the indigenous countries, if you can call it, because that was based on the on the planets, on the geography, on culture and all that, instead of who has occupied what by force.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, because I there's something I want to you said that then right. Mm, because all the culture, all the traditional names of the culture and of the lands and of the forest of the past is all grew up from the lands, you know, from the territory we live in, and from the past the past and the road we are we are um, 前 sorry uh, we are migration. So this is our migration of our ancient people's road. So that's why the land rise, why the land and the forest is always important to indigenous people because we are rely on the nature. You know, it's not the nature, it belongs to us. We are part of a nature, you know. So we are relied on the mountain, the river, the trees, the fish, the the air in the mountain, the sun, the sky. This natural you can buy. So that's why, and our culture is basic on, and for 1,000 years, for 100 years, in the past 100 years, in past 1,000 years, our ancients is living in this land, and our culture is grow up with this land and the forest and the mountain. That's why they are really matters to us. So that's why we are not going anywhere but here, and that's why we refuse to accept the story of the government version. Instead, to to take back the power, the rights of telling story of our own, to tell our land story, and we until we find the truth, until we find authentics and the justice in our land. So this is, I think that's important to us when we are making film, right? Yeah. But sometimes you can very aggressive. Sometimes you will feel anger in the head. But when you, but I think maybe the age will change you, and then when you grow up, you will think more and more things, and sometimes you can. I think the image in your film, just like a weapon. You don't have to say very, very aggressive story. You can just tell the story very normally, or very gently, or very softly, to tell a story. But the viewer, your audience, will know this. Wow, this is important to your people. But now they are doing this, and they are not doing this anymore. They are lost, they are vanished. So so when you film reflect to the nowadays situation, they will comes from their contrast. They will some contrast between that, and that's why you will feel the importance of that. Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to tell a story. Telling story, there are many different ways. You can no voiceover. You just film very. You can give it very long shot, just like Hou Xiaoxian, long shot, and that's that's a masterpiece. No, I'm just joking. And you just over many clips come together, and I think for me, I want to try more, different things. But for indigenous cinema in the future, I accept and expect, and I have a hope. There are many, many young indigenous people, or young independent filmmaker, start to tell the world, your own story, and to their story to be heard, to be noticed, and you don't know what the future is. Maybe your film will make change. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think that we over time, Wow, I should applause for myself, clap with my, because this is first time I talk in English online, live. live stream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So thank you for Surya for me for this rare opportunity to share the experience. I don't know. I already forgot what I say. but I really like the way, and I really the interview is very good. It's very made me uh think about again and ask for myself again. Yeah.
Thank you, Sayun. I mean, it's been really wonderful. I mean, all that you have shared with us to have given us time. I mean, in fact, more time than what we had asked for. So that's really, of course, I knew that, that there is a lot that you can share. And I still feel that just have started this
Yes.
conversation. And I am
Yes.
hopeful that in the future we can continue and,
Yes.
get to learn more from you.
Oh no,
And
no, share,
yeah,
exchange,
of course.
exchange,
Yeah, of
exchange.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my
Yes.
pleasure, and it's my. I really thank you, Surya, and I hope the situation, the coronavirus, will be under control in your country, and be safe, and stay home, and stay healthy.
Thank you. And my best wishes to you. And same thing, like stay safe. And, you know, mm, and also about the new film that you're making. Uh, so when do we expect to see that? I
Uh,
mean, no pressure, just asking. Yeah.
my film,
Yeah.
the new film over the topic of land rights.
The new film that you're making that
Uh,
you said you
I,
were shooting.
uh,
Yeah.
30 minutes, right? I can give
Yeah.
you the link, but no share.
Oh, okay.
Only you, yeah, no share, yeah. Can we do that? Okay. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I will give
Okay.
you the link, but because right now we are still processing, we are still
Oh,
filming. We are not
finalized.
we are not reached the final version, so we have to keep filming. So we have a 30 minutes like a former short films, and you can watch. But yeah, right now we are not sharing. Yeah, just for some
Internal
particulars.
viewing. Yeah.
For some particular screening chance to or in the for students or share in the film festival, something like that. Yeah. Mm. I give you the link later, but please
Yeah,
not
sure.
share. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
okay, thank you. And see you soon. All the
See you soon.
best for everything.
Yeah. I hope to see you soon in Taiwan. Maybe in the future when the whole world is under control, and maybe we can invite you or the other very phenomenal filmmaker in India and come to Taiwan, and we share the films. I believe that day will come. Yeah. Stay safe. Yeah. Thank
Great.
you.
Look forward to that. Bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.